Students, we have studied till now about how the manufacturing sector acts as the backbone of economic development for any particular country. And if we'll look to the another topic now, it is written here: contribution of industrial sector to our national economy. So it is written here. I'm going to read from the book only that the total share of the industrial sector in our GDP is about 27%, and uh, about 17% of this share is now stagnated for large industries, which include that of mining, quarrying, electricity, and gas. Okay, and if we'll look about the nearby countries in Asia, then it is written here. We have a record that our country's share in GDP of the manufacturing sector is much lower as compared to the East Asian countries, where it is about 25 to 35%. So the trend of growth rate in our manufacturing sector is about 7% per annum, and since the last decade, okay, 10 years before, and the desired growth rate in the next decade was about to 12% in our manufacturing sector. So a manufacturing sector again growing at the rate is again growing at the rate of 9 to 10% per annum since 2003. So this is the record that we are having about manufacturing sector. So it is very important that our manufacturing sector should be developed in such a way that much more good new technology should be adopted in our manufacturing sector so as to make it more efficient, right? And for this, one council is inaugurated by the government. It is called as NMCC. This is National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council. Apart from this, if we talk about the industrial location, so what should be the industrial location of any particular industry? What should be the ideal location? Okay, so the ideal location for any particular industry depends on the availability of raw material. That means the raw material is available nearby. Why it is to be the important factor? Because for any industry to be set up, because the cost of transportation will be much more lower if the industry is going to be set up nearby the area where raw material is available. And with this, some other factors are also responsible for the ideal location of any industry. Another factor is labor should be made available in that region who are required in the manufacturing units for running machines and or to operate machines. Or another factor is capital, which is also very important factor. With this, power supply should be good, market should be also nearby. Okay, if all these factors are available at lower cost, then the industry will be set up at that particular location. But it is very rarely possible that all these factors are which are responsible for the production to carry on production in any particular industry. It is very much not very possible that all these factors are available nearby. So who the industry looks out in for that particular location where the cost should be lowest. Okay, the expenditure that is to be incurred by the industry should be lowest so as to earn more profits, right? And therefore this is the ideal location for any particular industry to be set up. Apart from this, if we see, mostly we see that the manufacturing units are set up nearby the city or in the city. Okay, why is it so? Why we observe that these type of industries are being set up in cities or nearby cities, because most of the particular availability of services which these industries require or manufacturing units require, it is to be made available in these cities, right? Like for example, skilled labor, it is available in the cities, so industries are set up there only, okay, nearby the cities or in the cities. And with this we can say directly that urban centers used to provide all the type of availability of factors which are required by any particular industry, okay, maybe any type of services which are required by industry. So therefore these type of industries are to be set up in nearby or in the urban centers. So whenever manufacturing units are collected together at one place, they are being set up together at one place nearby any particular urban center, because these urban centers used to provide them all the type of facilities like that of the banking facility, insurance, financial advice, or any other type of transportation. All these type of important facilities are made available in the cities only for these industries, and therefore they are being set up together at one place. So wherever this type of collection of all the different industries are together at one place nearby the urban center, or nearby that urban center, that type of economy is to be called as agglomeration economies, okay. So agglomeration economies are there, are those where the different industries are set up together at one place, because all the type of different services which are required by these industries are made available in those urban centers. Now let's move on to our next topic here. It is written that another topic is industry market linkage. In the industry market linkage, you will see here that how is the industry linked to the market. So let's study this linkage. It is given to you on page number 64 in your NCERT book. That flowchart we are going to see or study. In the beginning, what happens is inputs which are required by any particular industry or maybe by any producer, maybe it be a farmer, okay, whatever type of inputs are required by them, first all these type of inputs are made available or transported to the factory, okay. I will tell you that what type of inputs are actually required. There are two type of inputs, factor inputs and non-factor inputs. Factor inputs are like that of land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. All these four factors of inputs are very, very important. If you remove any one of these factor inputs, then production will not be taking place, okay. Like for example, if you remove land and you take all the three other factors for the production of any particular good, like that of labor, capital, entrepreneur, then production will not take place, because mainly the factory or maybe the production will be carried on the land only. So land is very much required, first important factor of production. So what happens is that all these type of different inputs are to be transported to the factory. And I was talking about non-factor inputs also. So non-factor inputs includes like that of raw material, okay. It is a non-factor input, right? So all these factor and non-factor inputs are transported to the factory, and factory used to combine all these factor inputs together, and production can be made possible. When the production is done of any particular good from any factory, then output is produced, and this output is then transported to the market, okay, which is going to be sold in the market. And when this output will be sold, then what happens is that the company used to receive money, and this money which they receive is going to be distributed among all the four different factors of production. Actually, this all output which is produced, when the money value of all this output is received by the company, this output is distributed among four factors of production, like that of as their factor incomes, like land will earn in the form of rent, labor will earn in the form of wages and salaries, capital earns interest, and entrepreneur earns profit. In this way, the sale of output will actually be distributed in the form of factor inputs, right? In the form of factor incomes, right? So factor incomes, it becomes the factor incomes. Again, this whole procedure is recycled. Okay, the cycle again starts like this only. Whatever profit is earned by the producer, then he used to again purchase the factor inputs and non-factor inputs. They are all combined together, and again the production takes place, and the output is sold in the market. So this cycle keeps on going. After this, let's study about classification of industries. So let's classify the industries. Actually, industries are classified on the basis of source of raw material. Okay, when we classify industries on the basis of source of raw material, so from where is the industry getting its raw material from? So if the particular industry is going to get raw material from agriculture sector, then these industries will be classified into agro-based industries. The examples of agro-based industries are like that of cotton, woolen, jute, silk, textile, rubber, sugar, tea, coffee, edible oil. All these are those type of goods which are manufactured from the raw material purchased from the agricultural sector. Then there are also industries which are called as mineral based industries, because they get their raw material from their basis of the source of raw material is the minerals. Okay, so these are mineral based industries, and the names or examples of these industries are like that of iron and steel industry, cement, aluminium, machine, tools, petrochemicals, right? So all these are mineral based industries according to their main role. So industries are also classified according to their main role. So what is the main role played by a particular industry? Industries are also basic industries, like which we call as key industries. Most of the goods which are produced by different industries are not to be sold directly into the market, because their output is still to be further processed. Still, it has to pass on some more stages of processing, so as to make that particular good into a usable good. Okay, so for example, iron and steel. These steel sheets are not going to be required by the consumers in the market. Actually, these steel sheets are moving to some automobile industry, where it will be converted into some usable good like two-wheelers, four-wheelers, like this, and then it is being sold to the market. So these are all key industries, or we can say basic industries. So some examples of basic industries are iron and steel, as I told you, copper smelting, aluminum smelting. All these industries are purifying the pure form of aluminum or copper, which is being used by some other industries. Like for the electrical industries, copper is used to make wires and several electrical items. Then second type of industry on the basis of their main role is consumer industries. Consumer industries are those type of industries which are producing final goods. Means like wristwatch company, it manufacture wristwatch, and directly it is being sold in the market and purchased by the consumer. They directly produce final goods. Okay, in the similar way, fans, sewing machines, paper, toothpaste, all these are consumer industries. Now we'll also classify industries on the basis of capital investment. So industries are classified into two parts: small scale industries and large scale industries. So according to this classification, what is the maximum investment, okay, what is the maximum investment allowed on assets of a particular unit. So if a particular manufacturing unit is investing up to 1 crore rupees, then it will be coming into the category of small scale industries. Whereas the capital invested by any particular entrepreneur by more than 1 crore, it will be coming into large scale industries. Then let's classify industries on the basis of ownership. So on the basis of ownership, industries are classified into 4 categories: public sector, private sector, joint sector, and cooperative sector. So let's study each one of them. First one is public sector. So public sector companies are those where the ownership of asset is of the government. Okay, and some of the government companies you can see, like that of Steel Authority of India Limited is one of the example. Okay, so these are all public sector. And apart from this, if we talk about private sector, here the ownership of assets is of the private individuals. Okay, like that of Bajaj Auto Wheels, Tata Iron and Steel Company. All these are private sector industries. Then comes joint sector. The joint sector industries are those which are run by state as well as by the private sector. That is, the public and private both are operating these industries. And example of joint sector is OIL, that is Oil India Limited. Apart from this, another one is fourth one is cooperative sector. The cooperative sector industries are owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of raw materials, workers, or both. Okay, so in the cooperative sector industries, what happens that the ownership of assets is of the producer, the supplier of raw materials, workers. Okay, and they pool their resources together and produce the output, right? So whatever is the whatever is the profit or whatever is the loss is to be bared by these people only. Okay, so these are all cooperative sector industries. You can see both in Maharashtra, the sugar industries are mainly cooperative sector. Then comes classification of industries on the basis of bulk and weight of raw material and finished goods. So based on the bulk and weight of raw material and finished goods, whatever is the weight of the raw material and the finished goods, okay, on the basis of this only the industries are classified into 2 types, that is heavyweight and lightweight. So heavyweight industries are having their raw material also to be heavy and their output is also heavy. So these are heavy industries like that of iron and steel. Light industries are those which are getting the weight of their raw material is also light and the output produced is also light. So example of light industries are like that of electrical industries, because the output produced by the electrical industries is all light weighted, and even the raw material to be taken is also light weighted. Okay, so this is the classification of industries into different types.